The transition from a basic cable actress to a global brand was supposed to be Meghan Markle's crowning achievement, but as the dust settles on her multi-year Netflix deal, the verdict from industry titans and critics alike is becoming a deafening roar of disapproval. Leading the charge with her signature brand of brutal honesty is veteran journalist Megyn Kelly, who recently took to her platform to dismantle the Duchess of Sussex's latest creative offerings. Kelly's critique wasn't just a slap on the wrist, it was a surgical strike against what she perceives as a complete lack of authenticity. To Kelly, and a growing chorus of observers, the Netflix Meghan isn't a creator, she's a copycat, delivering a high-gloss, low-substance performance of a life she wants us to believe she lives. The Martha Stewart mimicry, staged or sincere? The most recent flashpoint in this controversy is Markle's lifestyle series, with Love, Meghan. Critics have been quick to point out the uncanny, and some say, uncomfortable, similarities to lifestyle icons like Martha Stewart and Ina Garten. However, where Stewart offers decades of genuine expertise, Markle has been accused of playing the part of a domestic goddess. Megyn Kelly didn't hold back, labeling these efforts as stupid attempts to reinvent herself as a relatable homemaker. The critique is rooted in a glaring lack of authenticity. The show was notably filmed in a rented $8 million farmhouse rather than her own $14 million Montecito mansion. For many, this is the ultimate proof of the copying narrative. If the life being presented is literally a stage set, can the advice on organic gardening or thoughtful hosting be anything more than a scripted performance? She can't act. The performance of the victim. The core of the brutal destruction often centers on the idea that Meghan's greatest acting role wasn't Rachel Zane on Suits, but the Duchess herself. High-profile media figures have argued that her has only highlighted her limitations. In the docuseries Harry and Meghan, the couple leaned heavily on the victim narrative, a move that Megyn Kelly and others have described as performative vulnerability. The relatability gap. At a time when the world is grappling with economic shifts, Markle's focus on Ladybird crostini and edible flowers has been slammed as tone-deaf. The hyena critique. Kelly famously mocked a video of Markle at a baseball game, describing her laughter as forced and inauthentic, suggesting that every public move is calculated for the camera rather than born from genuine emotion. The grifter label. This sentiment was echoed by Spotify executive Bill Simmons after their deal collapsed, reinforcing the idea that the Sussexes are better at selling the story of themselves than actually producing original, compelling art. A brand built on borrowed identities. The most stinging part of the critique is the allegation that Meghan Markle is just good at copying others. From the aesthetic of her lifestyle brand American Riviera Orchard, which many have noted bears a striking resemblance to high-end California boutiques, to her podcast Archetypes, which was criticized for its artificial and over-the-top posting style, the pattern is hard to ignore. Detractors argue that Meghan's career is a series of borrowed identities. The philanthropist, a role used to land the prince, according to Kelly. The royal rebel, a role used to gain global sympathy and a $100 million production deal. The lifestyle guru, a role currently being copied from established media moguls to maintain relevance. The industry's cold shoulder. The numbers don't lie. While the initial documentary was a ratings juggernaut fueled by curiosity and royal gossip, subsequent projects have struggled. Her animated series Pearl was scrapped before it even aired, and Polo, a series centered on Prince Harry's favorite pastime, was panned for being dull and elitist. Variety recently described her latest work as a Montecito ego trip not worth taking, noting that the well-tailored and beige production mirrors a wardrobe that is perfectly curated but ultimately empty. When even Hollywood's trade publications begin to use words like formless lifestyle filler, the writing on the wall becomes clear. The audience is tired of the performance. The verdict, a legacy of controversy. Ultimately, Meghan Markle remains the most polarizing figure in modern media because she represents the ultimate influencer paradox, She is famous for being famous, yet she demands to be taken seriously as a world-changing visionary. By portraying herself as a victim while living in extreme luxury, she has created a controversy loop that keeps her in the headlines but erodes her professional credibility. As Megyn Kelly and other critics have pointed out, you can only act the part for so long before the audience notices the script in your hand. In the high-stakes world of Netflix, where content is king, a curated mirage simply isn't enough to sustain a kingdom. The $100 million Sussex deal was supposed to be the ultimate Hollywood redemption arc, but as 2026 unfolds, it looks increasingly like a masterclass in expensive imitation. Veteran broadcaster Megyn Kelly has emerged as one of the most vocal critics, recently dismantling the Duchess's latest offerings as a transparent attempt to play act a life she didn't earn. The core of the brutal destruction lies in a singular, stinging observation. After 5 years of production, Meghan Markle has failed to produce an original identity. From the curated farm-to-table aesthetics that mirror Martha Stewart to the victim narrative documentaries that critics claim are rehearsed to the second, the verdict is becoming clear. To her detractors, Markle isn't an auteur, she's a high-budget copycat whose acting has finally worn thin for a global audience. The rating reality data doesn't lie.